Hey everyone, welcome back to Crypto Cash. Thank you so much again for joining me here. Hope you're having a phenomenal day. Quick look at Solana, seeing what's going on. I've been bearish on Solana ever since we lost our support level here, or basically our ascending trend line for Bitcoin. So just keep in mind at this point, Solana is inversely paired in a lot of ways. More so like double paired to Bitcoin. In other words, it's not inverse and moving opposite, it's basically moving the same. However, it's moving more aggressively to the downside. If you look at this here, this is Solana's chart, nice steady slope to the downside. Bitcoin's at least trying to find its bottom. Okay, so again, I think Solana has more downside potential here, and we'll explain why. Again, I'm going into this just neutral, keep in mind. I don't have a bias towards one thing or the other, but at this point, a lot of signs right now are telling me that the short-term trend is down. So you just kind of got to recognize that, you got to shift gears a lot. I know yesterday, Solana looked like it was going to be doing well if it bounced off that 147 level, but obviously got news for you folks. We lost our ascending trend line. Once the trend is broken, you really got to reevaluate. So let's take a look here. If you are new to the channel, hit the like button, comment below if you get a chance. You've been watching for a while. Thank you so much for always hitting that like button, getting us a little bit more views here lately. Appreciate that very much. Absolutely helps grow the channel, and more importantly, gets less people destroyed by moon boys, because I'm sure some people are telling us that Solana is going to go to 200 or 300 here in October because it's Uptober, and that's what it's done historically. That really means nothing now that ETF and big money is involved with the ETF approval. So just understand that manipulation is kind of like a foundation to trading now. And unfortunately, as a swing trader, you got to be extra careful. These little transitions will really catch you off guard, and unfortunately, the trends are really unique. It's difficult to identify. Either way, that's why we look at specific key levels, and that's kind of what we're looking at here. So at 140, we can see a lot of liquidation is soon to be swept, so just keep in mind 140 is kind of that tentative bottom. 141 is roughly the lowest point there. That's actually what my take profit target would have been for my Solana short from 147, but we never came all the way back up to 147. We kind of lost that level. So the truth is right now there's more liquidation on the downside than the upside as per usual, and we can see the largest concentration at basically 140 is a round number. There's about 2.5, or maybe 2.5 billion, or 1.5 to 2 billion at the $140 range. So I think one last little wick down would make tons of sense. Same thing with Bitcoin too. It does absolutely look like it wants to break down. Came up to retest 63K like a champ, and ever since then, the late longs are just getting absolutely destroyed. So again, folks, don't be a buy the dip person because you just like to buy the dips. It's a dip move. It's not a good call. So just be mindful. This market is ever changing, and you kind of got to stay vigilant. And if you don't like that, you're probably not set for, you're probably not you're probably not going to be a good crypto trader. No offense, but it's just one of those things where you kind of got to have, you got to be resilient, you got to learn from your mistakes, and you got to continue to roll with the punches. Because there's a lot of them, okay? Like we tried to short SUI semi-recently. It was a big mistake, obviously, in hindsight. But Bitcoin pumped on a weekend. What the hell was that, right? Anyways, a lot of funky, weird stuff going on. And for right now, let's just be careful and cautious. So what we want to do in order to do that, or to increase our odds of success, is to recognize points of control. 143 has been that consistent denominator for us for a while. At this point here, we can see 143.5 roughly. That's the local point of control ever since we've been in this little range. That's essentially where the most amount of buying pressure is. We zoom out kind of ever since we've been in the 100 plus range, 100 plus category, we can see pretty consistent, even still 143, 144, okay? So now that we're below that, we presume it's going to work as a resistance. That's just generally how that works. And I get the question almost every time I record a video, what is this indicator? It's VRVP. It's basically volume range visual profile, if I'm not mistaken. Let's see here, VRVP. Visible range volume profile. Sorry, I have no idea how to pronounce that sometimes, but I can tell you it's really good. It's helpful to help you identify where the accumulation of volume is in whatever period you decide to zoom into. Take a look here at RSI, under 50 on the RSI. Bitcoin losing 50 on the RSI. Money flow index is below the RSI on Bitcoin. That's a very bad sign. It's soon to switch gears here too for Solana, basically shifting that momentum. I'm not familiar with it specifically, but I know a lot of people put a lot of emphasis in market cipher and indicators that are similar. This is probably, in my opinion, likely going to be a red dot. I would imagine that's what it should be, because when you shift that dynamic, then it really helps you understand that the momentum has officially shifted gears. We got a second stochastic swing to the downside, and a lot of reasons why Solana should continue a little bit lower. It doesn't make a ton of sense logically, like why the heck is Solana pulling back? It's a good coin fundamentally, that's how people see it. But the truth is, folks, no matter how good or bad the fundamentals are, coins will be traded regardless, and manipulation is 100% a guarantee. All the more reason why you want to be mindful of this here. I think a wick down to 139, 140 just seems sensible at this point. Okay, so that's kind of where we're on the daily. Most things are diverging. There's really not a lot of good signs here, and we look at the SMAs. We're below all three, minus the 50. The 50 is like our last leg of defense here, okay? So nothing really good here right now. This is not a good ideal scenario, and you should not be bullish on this coin whatsoever. If somebody else is telling you that, you should, I wouldn't say distrust them, but you may want to be careful with who you're watching or learning from. No offense, I mean, some people are just newer and they just don't know any better, or they're emotional. I've been in the industry for over 20 years, just trading in general, and I can tell you that emotions are the dark side. So if you are like a Star Wars fan, you know, it's a path to the dark side. There's no other way around it. Anyways, I have a trading university. Maybe consider attending that and watching. I have some important content on emotional trading and how to avoid it. Either way, we're under 50 on the RSI here on the 4-hour money flow index, trailing behind. Stochastic is trying to bottom out. That does tell us that there's an attempt at a bounce here. We are seeing somewhat of a double bottom. So what I could see happening here is something along these lines here, okay? Where the price action recovers, comes up to a key level resistance, 144 to 148 range, gets people to come into a late longs. Oh, we've broken bullish, and then the price just rakes down from there. Again, a lot of that is considered the simple fact that Bitcoin's on a similar trajectory, right? So again, when you see Solana running concurrent with Bitcoin, what do? Well, you understand what the heck Bitcoin's doing, and you respect the fact that Solana is, in all reality, 2x to the downside of Bitcoin. In a lot of ways, or 1.5x, whatever. It's definitely inversely paired, and every time Bitcoin pumps, Solana's like, nope, not right now. So that tells me that short makes a lot more sense than long, just from a statistical standpoint of finding more success. And again, folks, when we look at the technical analysis, all we're doing is increasing our odds of success. Like some days it's like 60-40, other days it's like 80-20, and like it's generally one of those things where the more you understand about the charts, the more likely you are to find success. There's always outliers, there's always things that are going to happen that you cannot control. Fundamentals are a big one, and that's what we're seeing a lot of right now with the Israel, Iran, and that whole like war, and also this crazy nonsense in the U.S. with the presidential candidacy. A lot of things are just upside down right now, so it is a very strange time. I think late November, early December, or just December in general, we're going to see a lot better trading conditions. Okay, so take a look here. We can see that we're well below the cloud. This is literally 4 out of 3 reasons not to take a long position. Okay, and why I emphasize that is because there's literally nothing here telling us that a long makes sense. Every single time frame we've identified bearish divergences, this has shifted a lot. Think about this. 24 hours ago, we were testing our ascending trend line ready to break out and hit that 155 range. Now it's like that's just a hope and a prayer, and there's a strong likelihood we're going to see further downside. Looking at liquidation, just to clarify, we do have, again, liquidation all the way down as low as 130. So in the last 7 days, we've seen a ton of longs here that are about to have a bad day. I'm not saying we're going to see 130, 135 just yet. If Bitcoin runs towards 61K, then yeah, totally. But either way you look at it, you add this all up together, there's quite a lot of liquidation down as low as 130. So don't be blind to the fact that we could see the price continue to run. If we do see 130, I think that would be an excellent consideration for a long, just buying a macro double bottom. That's a different story altogether. We'll talk about that later, but for right now, I would just be careful taking a long. Do not take a long. Okay, cool. And again, as soon as I upload this, maybe you watch this a little bit later, you'll see the price shooting back up to the moon, as they say, and you'll probably think that I was wrong. And I'm wrong all the time, just so you know. It's normal, it's par for the course, you get kind of used to it. But I'm wrong a lot less often than the average person. And the main reason why is because I do this every single time I take a trade. Okay. Don't shortchange yourself and just be like, oh, I've been watching this coin for a while. It's finally hit the entry that I wanted to get into months ago. I'm ready to get in. That's a terrible, foolhardy mistake. Do your due diligence. You're going to be thankful later when your account is actually growing instead of suffering. All right, anyways, you want to be part of our Trading Academy Community Signals group, check it out, link down below. We've got some nice, awesome trades. A quick little heads up here. Thanks again to my community. Took a nice short from Bitcoin. Sorry, that was a long from Bitcoin, rather, a week ago. Aptos short over the weekend, closed our SUI short in a loss. It's been kind of a slightly messy, but also very profitable in the overall sense because the coins that we are maximizing your benefit are hitting all their targets. So anyways, conversation for another day. You know it if you're part of it. If you're not, then that's cool too. If you have questions, reach out. Also, last thing too, this is actually super, super important. We have our prevent scams section in our Discord. There's tons of imposters, tons of people trying to impersonate me. I will never direct message you or try to solicit you. It happens unfortunately all the time. Like, these people are pathetic. Look at this here. They come into my channel. They have some stupid funky name. They change their logo. I instantly ban them, and then they'll start direct messaging all my members because they have the list of everyone that's in there. Okay, and there's nothing I can do about it. Discord will not change their policy on publicly showing who's in the channel. So anyways, that's kind of where we're at. Heads up on that. Trust no one, including myself, but obviously trust me over time if you decide you want to and you see some benefit here. Thanks again, folks. I look forward to working with you. Have a great rest of your day. Take care.